be seated. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader, says John Adams. Good morning to everyone to this spectacular day. We heartily welcome each one to witness this auspicious moment of investiture ceremony, one of the most awaited celebrations at Carmel School for the academic year 2022-23. An investiture ceremony is an official celebration of a person's installation to his authority, power, right, and office. I take pride in welcoming all the distinguished guests on this special occasion of investiture ceremony. We, on behalf of Sister Sarika, our principal, Sister Violet, the administrator, Mrs. Lavita, the member of School Managing Committee, and the faculty members of Carmel School, would like to give you a gracious welcome. A smile is the universal welcome. It is a moment of joy and gratitude to God for making this day a happy one. The presence of Mr. Vivek Vijay Kumar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Marine Engineering, Srinivas Institute of Technology, gladdens our hearts. We extend a warm welcome to you, dear sir, to this special occasion. Thank you for giving us your precious time.
The birds are chirping in the bright light. All on earth proclaim the Lord's mighty power. We shall all together praise Him for His loving presence through a melody. Thank you, students, for your melodious song. It is said that no new venture is deemed complete without a prayer. Let us revere God of our well-being. It is our humble first invitation in His name to bless our ceremony for a successful completion through a prayer service.
15th April dawned bright and clear. At Mitu, 6 great personalities, green, blue, yellow, orange, red and violet, representing continents, came together to discuss on the theme how quality leadership aids in all-round development of students.
Courage means being brave or trying new things, even when a situation is difficult or scary. Can you show courage today? Courage starts by being brave, no matter how scared you may be. Maybe getting through your first dance recital or trying out for your t-ball team. People who are courageous don't ever back down. They always are up for a challenge, no matter how difficult it might sound. Courage, courage, being brave and trying new things, even when you're really nervous. Courage, courage, being brave and trying new things, even when you're really nervous.
Giving a wide coverage to the topic, effective leadership begins with courage that includes hope and passion. And Malavika Iyer, epitome of courage and optimism, is an inspiration to all the leaders in this direction. At 13, a freak accident caused Malavika to lose both her hands, even as it severely damaged her legs, raising serious doubts about whether she would ever walk again. But this young girl braved all odds, emerging victorious. Hello, Malavika. Could you be a voice to the emerging leaders?
Dear leaders, you need to free yourselves from your comfort zone to explore new opportunities and find success beyond your capacity. You'll have to fight tough the worst days of your life to earn the best days of your life. I ask God to make your life a little light.
God, make my life a little light within the world to glow. A little flame that burneth bright wherever I may go.
Student council makes the school go from monotonous to momentous and magnificent. The students need to develop the qualities of collaboration, teamwork, and leadership. Confidence is better than perfection because perfection means doing the best. Confidence means knowing how to handle the worst. When Plato was told that the boys in the street were making fun of his singing, he said, "Then I must learn to sing better." Another time, the philosopher was reminded that he had many critics. He calmly observed, "It is no matter. I will so live that none shall believe them." Again, Plato was informed that a fellow citizen was broadcasting detractions about him, and the response was, "I am confident he would not do it if he had not some reason." Sir, could you inspire our young leaders?
Dear leaders, there are a number of simple things that you can do to boost yourself. Remind yourself that you are a unique, special, and valuable person, and that you deserve to feel good about yourself. Burning confidence enables one to be whatever one wants to be, to do whatever one wants to do, to have whatever one wants to have, and to become whatever one wants to become. I ask God to give you oil in your lamps to keep it burning.
Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning, burning, burning. Give me oil in my lamp, I pray. Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning, burning, burning. Keep me burning till the break of day. And I will sing, Hosanna, sing, Hosanna, sing, Hosanna to the King of Kings. And I will sing, Hosanna, sing, Hosanna, sing.
Render selfless service to others. Do your duty a little more. In this context, I remember George C. Bolt and his wife gave up their room at a resort to the couple who entered the lobby of a small hotel in Philadelphia. The couple happened to be William Waldorf Astor, founder of New York's Waldorf Astoria, the largest hotel in the world. When it reopened in 1931, George C. Bolt was appointed its first manager. As a token of gratitude for lending a helping hand at time of need. George C. Bolt, it's your turn to enlighten our energetic leaders.
Dear leaders, let your light of knowledge and understanding, patience and communication, that is the ability to understand what others are trying to say and to convey decisions and action plans, shine forth your light.
Sri G.D. Naidu of India was a great man of common sense. He had very little formal education. From a bus driver, he rose to be a formidable industrialist, inventor, educationist, and philanthropist, all because of his great common sense. G.D. Naidu, could you enumerate the traits of a person of common sense?
Dear leaders, do the right thing at the right time, display great understanding, restrain anger, and overlook results. Listen before you answer, and this leads to peace and safety. Know that there is something to be learned from everyone. Listen to your inner voice.
Make God your guru. Let him tell you what to do. Listen, he's calling clear and true. Take time to listen. Take courage to obey. The inner voice is calling, calling you. The inner voice is calling, calling you. There are voices all around me, my enemies and my friends. Do this, don't do that, the chorus never ends. But I shall always listen to that quiet inner voice. It's swift and definite, and I have met my joy.
After a tiring day, Walt Disney was in bed trying to sleep. But he could not sleep the whole night since his friends, who had returned after a full day's picnic, were snoring. Each one was snoring in his own way. Even though Walt Disney was not able to sleep, he made use of the time to record the pitch and rhythm, and later composed a beautiful snoring symphony, which was included in the film Full Bright Moon and Seven Stars, which won him the Oscar Award for Music. Walt Disney, how could our leaders cultivate creativity?
Dear leaders, follow current events with an analytical mind. Probe into the depths of knowledge, appreciating art, music, folk art. Cultivate hobbies suited to your temperament and disposition. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what God has done.
When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done.
This reminds me of Pierre Curie, the famous scientist with head bent was looking into a microscope. A student coming to meet him thought he was praying. He quickly turned round to move away quietly. But Pierre Curie called him back. "Sir," he said, "I thought you were praying, so I did not want to disturb you." "Yes, I was. I was looking at God's wonder through the microscope. I was praising Him," said Pierre Curie. All search and discovery is an attempt to learn and understand God's work. Pierre Curie, leaders are awaiting for your invigorating message.
Dear children, God is our creator. Let us put feeling and meaning in what we pray.
अब है नया। करुणा सागर है प्रभु जय, दया के स्वामी ईश की जय। करुणा सागर है प्रभु जय, दया के स्वामी ईश की जय। ईश प्रभु है करुणा सागर, स्वामी मेरे मन में बसा। जल में मछली विचरे जैसे, घूमे मृग वो वन में जैसे। जल में मछली विचरे जैसे, घूमे मृग वो वन में जैसे। वैसे ही प्रभु तेरी करुणा, वैसे ही प्रभु तेरी करुणा विचरे जग के हर मानव में। ईश प्रभु है करुणा सागर, स्वामी मेरे मन में बसा।
Thank you, students. It was indeed resplendent and heart-touching performance. Leaders are not born, they are made. Just like anything else, through hard work. Let us rejuvenate ourselves by listening to a leadership song.
तेरे चाल ना चल बंदे, तू अपनी राह बना ले। जो तू दिल से चाहता है तो मेहनत से पाले।
May I request Sister Preena, the Vice Principal and the animator of the school cabinet, to escort the dignitaries to the dais.
Thank you, sister. Sequined in the night sky, as the stars shine, they tell a million stories, some of yours, a few of mine. Sparkling gems adorn the sky, and you wish to be like them, a dazzling splendor to beautify by making our every night hopeful. I'm profusely overjoyed to take the opportunity to introduce and welcome our chief guest of the day. He is none other than Mr. Vivek Vijay Kumar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Marine Engineering, Srinivas Institute of Technology. He completed his schooling at Milagres and St. Aloysius Pew College, Mangaluru. Pursued his engineering degree from Dr. Ambedkar Institute of Technology, Bangalore, in mechanical engineering. He has rendered his valuable service at Accenture ITC and OMI Tankers, Houston, USA. After clearing his Class 4 MOT from Newcastle, UK in 2006, worked with TORM Tankers, Denmark. Cleared his second engineer's exam from Glasgow in Scotland. Sailed as a third engineer with TORM Tankers till 2014. Worked as head of Department of Marine Engineering at MMCT. At present, he is the Assistant Professor in the Department of Marine Engineering, Srinivas Institute of Technology. He also shoulders some of the additional responsibilities of being a coordinator for the training and mentoring of students for job placements, student counselor for the Department of Research Projects with student teams. To add on a feather in his cap, he has won the best research paper at the International Conference on Mechanical Sciences at SIT. Could I request Sister Sarika, our principal, to welcome the chief guest with a flower pot. Thank you, sister. It is our joy to extend a warm welcome to Mrs. Lavita D'Souza, member of School Managing Committee. May I request Sister Violet, our administrator, to welcome ma'am with a flower pot. Thank you, sister. A cordial welcome to our principal, the administrator, the faculty members, and you, my dear students.
Thank you, Mrs. Liffin. Leaders translate dreams into reality. Leaders transform vision into action. Leaders to leaders, leaders to guide us, leaders to inspire, and leaders who make our school proud. Here we have our leaders set ready to march toward the days. Let us all watch this magnificent moment as they are escorted by Dipali and Shanvi.
an honor to God the Father and the Lady of Mount Carmel, our alma mater who is appointed as a messenger to Carmel School to request the budding youth with leadership qualities to lead the aspiring companions ever onward and upright in thought, word, and deed. Let us witness this solemn moment of our student representatives accept the noble task of rendering their service for this scholastic year 2022-23.
Dear Alma Mater, here we come, offering our services to our beloved school. We have been trusted and entrusted with the responsibilities, but alone we are afraid.
We have come to you for your counsel. Please grant us the treasures of love and courage, so that we may march boldly forward, lifting aloft the bright banner of Carmel School and leading our school towards its shining goals of harmony and success.
I accept your service for this year. I am confident that you all will perform your responsibilities to maximum of your abilities. And I place these responsibilities in your hand.
A flag symbolizes three aspects of a child's personality: the mind, the heart, and the body, which the school aspires to develop in a child. The alma mater will now hand over the school flag to our principal. May I request Sister Sarika, our principal, to hand over the school flag to the head girl and the head boy. The excellence of school is measured by the discipline and the standard of education. For the smooth running of the school, we have various clubs. Now I request Teacher Ashwita to hand over the flag to the Minister of Red Rose. I call upon Teacher Pratibha to hand over the flag to the Minister of Blue Bells. Teacher Shilpa will now hand over the flag to the Minister of Yellow Crest. Teacher Pavitra will hand over the flag to the Minister of Green Gardenia.
We now have our young and energetic leaders on the dais, ready to pledge their oath at the commencement of their investiture ceremony 2022-23. Could I invite Mr. Vivek Vijay Kumar, the chief guest of the day, to hand over the badges, and our esteemed principal to honor them with sash, followed by the oath-taking ceremony.
Portfolio of the School Cabinet Ministers. Head girl, Janice Jimmy. Head boy, Brijesh. Assistant School People Leader, Kyati Rajesh Argil. Minister for Education, P.R.P. Nayak. Minister for Discipline, Niharika Prashant. Minister for Sanitation, Kanishka S. Kotari. Minister for Library, Kirtana S. Ministers for Cultural Activities, Pooja S. Kotian and Anvita. Minister for Sports, Bhuvishri C.H. Minister for Religion, Glebzi Bertha D'Souza. Minister for Social Service, Achala B. Kamath. Minister for Literary Club, Ashil Ami De Silva. Minister for Science and Eco Club, Sanita Rachel D'Souza. Minister for Maths Club, Apeksha C. Bhatt. Minister for Social Science Club, Jitesh Shetty. Minister for Religion, Glebzi Bertha D'Souza. Minister for Club, Red Rose, Razel Nicole Meneges. Minister for Club, Yellow Crest, Vismita. Minister for Club, Bluebell, Disha Dhananjay. Minister for Club, Green Gardenia, Bhumika J. Nair. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sister. We humbly request Sister Violet, our administrator, to honor the young deputy leaders with sash and Mrs. Lavita D'Souza, the member of the school managing committee, to hand over the badges. Portfolio of the school deputy cabinet ministers. Deputy Minister for Education, Manvita Rao N. Deputy Minister for Discipline, Shanvita V. Deputy Minister for Sanitation, Shrestha S. Shetty. Deputy Minister for Library, Amna Zainab. Deputy Ministers for Cultural Activities, Angel Marian Noronha and Rihanna Gia D'Souza. Deputy Minister for Sports, Ankit K.S. Deputy Minister for Religion, Stalin Jeevan Fernandez. Deputy Minister for Social Service, Pallavi. Thank you, sister, and thank you, ma'am.
We now request our principal to take over. Dear students, you are called to be a leader, to direct, and to be a role model to your fellow friends. You have greater tasks to make your leadership more effective. On this gracious moment, in the presence of all gathered here, I wish to examine your competence to carry out the assigned duties entrusted to you for this academic year 2022-23. As leaders of this school with various responsibility, are you ready to abide by the rules and regulations of the school? Yes, we do. As student leaders, are you willing to discharge your duties to the satisfactions of your authority? Yes, we do accept. As chosen leaders of this school, are you ready to serve the student community at any given situation? Yes, we do accept. Congratulations to all the ministers and their deputies for accepting the greater responsibility. We pray for the showers of blessings on you, on your path to become exemplary leaders. Now,
take the oath.
Sister will administer the oath-taking ceremony. We promise to strive to the best of our abilities. To live up to the ideals of the school. By fulfilling faithfully our duties entrusted to us. By the school authority and teachers. We will respect the rules and regulations of the school. And we will do the best of our ability. To preserve, protect, and defend the honor of our school. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister. Ministers of the Cabinet, kindly take your seats. As we congratulate all the student leaders for their availability as leaders to lead the school to successful march towards perfection in all our activities. May I now invite Janice Jimmy, the school head girl, to address the gathering on behalf of all the student leaders.
Our former Indian President APJ Abdul Kalam says, "Every school is a second home to all students as we all spend most of our time here rather than at home." My 11 years of memories are so colorful. Yes, this is my second home where I could find my teachers as guardian angels holding the luminous lamp of knowledge, guiding us to the right path throughout their life. Yes, we thank our principal, Sister Sarika, Sister M.V. Violet, our administrator, Sister Preena, our vice principal, Sister Shanti Lavina, our coordinator, and all the teachers for having the confidence to designate us as a school leader. My dear teachers and friends, we need your support in the upcoming years to fulfill our duties well. Your support is our ladder to keep each step up to scale the position of a leader. We can coordinate well with the cooperation from you all. Once again, I thank everyone gathered here. Hip hip, hip hip.
Thank you, Janice. May our patroness, Lady of Mount Carmel, bless and guide you and the cabinet leaders all through this academic year. We have amongst us Mr. Vivek Vijay Kumar, the Assistant Professor in the Department of Marine Engineering, Chief Guest of the Day, a leader and educationist who is inspiring hundreds of young minds holding responsible positions in the society. Students, keep your minds and hearts open and alert to grasp the message and imbibe it in your lives. Over to you, sir.
My name is Vivek Kumar, and they have already introduced me regarding what I do, where I'm from, and what they failed. I didn't fail to mention, but I didn't give them a small detail. One is that I am more entwined with this school than they have told. One, my wife teaches here. Two, my daughter studies here. So I have more in common with this school than I have with the place I teach. So thank you, Sister Principal Sarika, for inviting me here. And yes, there's a small agitation at the back. So yes, Janvi teacher is my wife, sir. Somebody, the kids are wondering who's teaching over here. Okay, so the excitement. Okay, calm down. So dignitaries off and on the dais. Sister Sarika, principal. Sister Violet, administrator. Lavina, the parent representative for the school management committee. Thank you so much. The student representatives, head boy, head girl. Is there head boy and head girl? Correct? Yeah, head boy and head girl. So it's the first time. So give them a big hand. All right. So I came, they told me to come at 9:40. So, and 10 years of shipping and sailing has made me a stickler for time. So I was here at the gate by 9:37. And when I came in, I was so overwhelmed. Nobody's received me like this since the day I got married 15 years back. It reminded me of that day. Pleasant memories, pleasant memories. All right. Okay, so let's get on with the show. My short show will be very short and brief, and there will be some questions to the audience, the younger ones and the older ones also. So just participate. I am not going to give you a class. I am not going to give you a sermon. I am not going to do any of those things. All of the things what I'm going to do is just make you think a little, because the place where I come from, I teach undergraduates marine engineering. And when undergraduates do come to college, there are certain things that we always feel that they could have been trained. Why didn't somebody tell them before they come over here? Because school is the place where you learn a lot of this. And we have to try to teach them when they are, say, in 18 years old to 22. It's a little hard. By the time they are a little more plastic, not so malleable as they are in school. So I'll talk about leadership and something. So I will be asking you to identify the little kids over here. Will be able to identify a few of them. Few of them you will not be able to identify. Okay. Can you please put the next slide? Yes, please. Yes, the little kids over here, not the big ones. They know. Do you know who this is? Gandhiji. So the Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation. Dr. Ambedkar called him. Could you click, please? Yes, the next one. Yes, this one. Who was he? The first Prime Minister. Very good. Excellent. 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 So, why, any idea why didn't Gandhiji become the first Prime Minister? He was the father of the nation. That was the first choice. And in 1947, when they were debating this, his name was brought up. But he said, I will not get into active politics. So they put the idea of nation building into one man's hands. And he, along with a lot of very, very big luminaries, went on to build the nation that we have today. And we are so indebted to him. And one of the things he brought out, which is there, I work with a club called 51AH. And 51AH is one of the duties and responsibilities of the Indian citizen as per the constitution, and says raising of scientific temper. And we are very involved with that. And we have to thank Pandit Nehru for putting that in our constitution. Next slide, please. This one. Indira Gandhi. Yes, who was she? She was Indira Gandhi, but who was she? She was also a Prime Minister. Also a Prime Minister. So you already have leaders who are in politics, right? And people recognize them because they have led a nation. She was the first and I think the only woman Prime Minister. Was she the only woman Prime Minister? Yes, no? Yes, she was. Unfortunately, should there be more women Prime Ministers? Yes, excellent. Yes, that's the answer I needed. Yes, and she was the daughter of Pandit Nehru, but she was instrumental in bringing a lot of changes during the 70s, along with with her able crew up till 1984, till the time she was slain. She did bring about a lot of changes in India, and she is one of the leaders that people recognize. So, and children also recognize. Yes, next slide, please. This one. Excellent. Our Prime Minister now, the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The reason I put all of this is that these are people who you recognize. Okay, good leaders, bad leaders. The adults keep talking about this, but for children, they are recognizable leaders. Now, okay, I have the next slides. I will put some people. Let's see if you recognize them. Next slide, please. Yes. Adolf Hitler. Good leader or bad leader? Bad leader. Why? All right. Okay. So, all right. The reason that they think people do condemn him as a bad leader. One, he was the Chancellor of Germany, he was the head of the Nazi party there, and he was instrumental in bringing about the Second World War because he wanted more space for Germany, so he invaded the countries that are there around them. And along with them, he persecuted a community called the Jews. And building concentration camps and gas chambers, over 30 million Jews were killed. So he's an infamous leader, but quite infamous, but very recognizable. Okay, the next slide, please. This one I don't think people know. Anybody who knows? No, he's coming up next. No idea. All right. This man is much before your time, maybe before the time of your parents also. Pol Pot. Excellent. Excellent. I wouldn't have got this answer if I was there in engineer college. Okay. Now, Pol Pot. Okay, it's a wonderful name. He did not make pots, nor was he a potter or a potter head. Yeah, Harry Potter, does he make pots? No. Okay, Pol Pot was the head of something called the Khmer regime in Cambodia. Cambodia is a country east of Asia, in Southeast Asia, and earlier during his time it was called Kampuchea. In 74, in a brief 4 or 5 year period, his regime, they did something called as social engineering. Now, what is social engineering? Social engineering is they made all the people do one thing, which they thought is the best thing for the nation. They wanted to make a paradise in their country, right? And when you have people, one person thinking that one idea is the best idea for the country, he ends up doing something that they wanted, and he did it with an iron fist. So he wanted to make his country agrarian. So he bought everybody from the city, shut down the cities, bought everybody to work in the fields. If you don't work in the field, you were killed. And he ended up killing millions of people. So when his regime ended, and they went back to Cambodia, and it was brought down, he was shot dead, right? They found skulls of people everywhere. They killed them and they put them into in the ground. So very an infamous leader. Next slide, please. This one. He looks so chubby and cute, isn't he? Yeah. Yes, Kim Jo-jang. Okay, now quiet, please. Okay, so now if in looking at him, you will not say that he's a bad leader. He is a bad leader. Why? Why is he bad? Which country does he rule? Excellent. So he is the head of state for North Korea, and during the Korean War, this was much before maybe your parents were born. The Korean War, the country became two, South Korea and North Korea. We will come to South Korea a little later. But North Korea was, and he made it, it's not a communist nation as such, but a very, very right-wing nation. And he rules it with the iron fist. So if you go, you cannot go to North Korea. I have been to South Korea, but you cannot go to North Korea. It's very, very, people cannot come out of North Korea. You have to hide and run away from there. It is very difficult. And over there, if Kim Jo-young is not happy, then you have to come to school and cry. Did you know that? You have to, they will be in mourning. So every day you have to, your teachers will tell, Kim Jo-young is not well, please cry, and you have to cry for half an hour. Infamous leader. Next slide, please. Okay, all right. Now I'll stop here. Now, the reason I kind of put all of them is because I have, as a teacher and a speaker, and I go to a lot of schools, more than every year, maybe 30 or 40 schools, towards this time to let's say, give them what to do once you pass out of college, and how do you go to college, how do you choose a career. And the training that generally comes along with this, and we are asked to do a lot of courses, and this goes for the teachers who are sitting over here, and they will tell, take leadership courses, all right? And one of the most common slides, could you put this slide, please? This is what they will say. They will tell you, be self-motivated, have humility, care for others, everywhere it will be there. One of the reasons I'm not, if they call it a cliche in English, because you come to a leadership meet, by cliche they will say the same thing. I did not want to, though these are the ones that we need to talk about, but it is so cliche that next slide. I will not talk about this. So there is not going to be a class telling you how to be a good leader, how to be a good leader in class, how to be a good cultural secretary. That's not what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do, next slide please, is talk about who is a leader. Right. Okay, now the question is, you have to tell me yes or no. Is a leader somebody who can give a good speech? Okay, next. Is a leader somebody who dresses up well and has got a lot of medals on his chest? Okay, next slide please. Is a leader somebody who is this? Anybody? Oh yes, somebody from there. Gautam Adani. Gautam Adani has got a relationship with Mangalore in one way. Can anybody tell me what that is? Airport, excellent. He does, his company owns the airport and a lot of things. And the power station down on the way to Udupi, that is the Adani power station. He was in the coal business, but he owns most of the stuff, including ports, and he's one of the richest people in the world. So do you need to be rich to be a good leader? No. Okay, next slide please. And who is he? Very good, very good. The Chinese premier. Do you think that you need to have an iron fist, that means control everything within a country, to be a good leader? No. Okay, next slide. All right. You know who that is? Akshay Kumar. See, more than Kim Jong-un, they know this fellow. All right. Now, do you need is he like this in real life? It's not like this in real life. But we confuse actors to be very good representatives of society. They are acting out as characters. But you gave me the answer already. So next slide, please. Okay. All right. Okay. Why did I told you I'd be coming to South Korea. Right? Now, for the BTS army that is here, yeah, for the BTS army, yes, I know. They have disbanded. Yeah, they are no longer going to play together as a band. They went to the UN. These people may not know. They went to the UN maybe a week back to talk about how Asians are persecuted in the West, right? So despite being cultural icons, they are cultural icons for a generation that we have. For adults like me, it's a little difficult to comprehend what is the magnetic attraction that boys like these have. And they are cultural icons, but are they leaders? Does the army think so? Yes. Okay. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. This is what I think. Okay, this is a very personal opinion. I think the leadership should be through these things. And I will come to three people, and the three people that I think people should know about more than anybody else. Next slide. Leadership should be through compassion, and I saw one of the placards that the students brought out. Why compassion? And if you take, sisters are there on stage, if you distill the Bible down into one word, it's compassion and forgiveness. You distill it down to one word. You can take the Quran comes, you distill it down, it becomes brotherhood. The idea of being compassionate. Now this is a very, very hard thing to do. The second thing that I think a leader should have. Next. Survival, leadership through survival. Do you know a young lady who's got married now, but when she was, Malala? Yes? Why is she famous? She's from Pakistan, by the way. Malala Yousafzai. Now, Malala was shot in the head. Do you know for what? She was shot. In her school bus, somebody took a gun. Imagine you're coming to school, somebody comes in your bus, takes a gun and shoots you in the head. She was shot in her head for telling other people and other girls that they should go to school. She was shot by a group called the Taliban. And she was in Pakistan, and a lot of people, she was taken to Malaysia and Singapore to get a surgery done. And eventually, she went on to become a voice for education of young girls, especially in countries like Afghanistan, where they are not allowed to learn. Can you imagine somebody telling you, do not go to school? No? There are girls in so many parts of the world, they were not. And she became a voice from them. And she said, one pen, one book, one teacher. One pen, one book, and one teacher. That is how you can change the world. For all the teachers who are sitting over here, Malala is our voice as teachers. Every time we go to the classroom, it's one book, one pen. We can make a difference, and we are making a difference. I sailed 10 years in the sea. I've been to more than 30 countries. 30 countries. All the way around the world, I went. And the only time, and I was making a lot of money, right? Tax-free money. And I came back. And when my daughter was born, I decided to quit sailing and look for something else to do. So that I can stay with my family. And I ended up going to a classroom filled with slightly older boys and girls. And for the first time, I fell in love again. The first time was with my wife. The second time was with my profession. I didn't know I could enjoy my profession till that time. And since then, 7 years I've been teaching. And every time I hear Malala's quote, this is what I think. Every time I go to the classroom, it's one book, one pen, one teacher. Can I make a difference to other people's lives? And I have over a period of time. Next slide. Inspiration. Can you tell me who inspires you? Teachers inspire you. Excellent. Okay. How many of you want to become teachers? Teachers inspire you, but nobody wants to be a teacher. There are some people who are there. Don't worry, you are not the only crowd whose hands don't raise up. Raise down here. Thank you so much. And I hope you do. People who are passionate teachers and passionate students tend to become, passionate teachers. And I hope you do become teachers, because we need more and more good teachers over here. So, inspire people who do inspire you. It may be film actors. It may be BTS, for all you know. Yes. No. The army is in full crowd. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide. Politics. Now, we've talked a lot of politicians. Through politics, we can inspire. Okay, let me give you an example. There's a lady called Eleanor Roosevelt. Have you heard of her? Roosevelt, Teddy. Do you know the name for a teddy bear? How it's come? Why is a teddy bear called a teddy bear? Teddy bear was a bear. Basically, it's a toy. It was just called a stuffed toy before. And it was one of the favorite playthings of a man called Theodore Roosevelt, who was the American president in the early 20th century. And his pet name was Teddy. So Teddy became a teddy bear because that was his favorite toy. And Theodore Roosevelt's wife, Eleanor Roosevelt, was the first woman who headed the Committee for Human Rights. So if today we are telling every child needs to get educated, go to school, every human deserves a home, it is because of her. Though she was the president's wife, she could have very well gone to lunch and dinner and gone to parties. She didn't do that. She got into politics, and the human rights law, the UN Charter as we see it, she was the one who brought it. Next slide, please. Camaraderie. Can anybody tell me the meaning of this word? And I'll come back to this again. Camaraderie, it means doing things together as a group. And we will find out in our next slide. Next slide. Camaraderie is one of those things. Taking a stance. That means making you're standing your ground. You're not being adamant, you're not throwing a tantrum, but you are by principle telling this is what I think should be done and I stand for it by principle. There is a very good, next please. And empathy. This is one of the things. Can anybody tell me what is the difference between an empathy and sympathy? Is there a difference? Council members. Yes? Empathy means putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. Not that you steal it like you do it from a temple, not that. You put yourself in somebody else's shoes means put yourself in their perspective, right? And I teach design thinking for my students. And one of the first things that you need to be a good design thinker is empathy. That means you have to know what your customer is thinking. Next, please. And we'll come to, and taking a stand. Next. Okay, first story. Who is this lady? Princess Diana. Do you know why this photograph is so iconic? It's one of the most iconic photographs from the 80s. Not, okay, people who are here, the young people, if you don't know who Princess Diana is, Princess Diana was the wife of Prince Charles. She was the wife, she was very glamorous, very pretty lady. She was a celebrity. Celebrities before they were celebrities, right? People used to follow everything she does. Now in the 1980s, just like we had COVID, everybody knows COVID, right? Just like COVID in the 80s, there was one disease that was sweeping the world, and the disease was AIDS. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, all right, AIDS. And because people had AIDS, just like you're wearing masks, people were refusing to be in places where people have AIDS. Now I know sisters in the congregation, they have a lot of these places where people with AIDS are treated, children with AIDS are given support. Even now there is a stigma attached to it. So in the 80s, nobody will touch them, nobody will go sit. So they were segregated from, it's just because they have a disease. Imagine you have COVID and people lock you up. People lock you up, right? At the beginning, right? So now her mother-in-law, Queen Elizabeth, wanted to do a fundraiser in her, there are a lot of hospitals, in the hospital. Now, she sent Princess Diana over there. Now, the question is, this was a time when AIDS was at peak, everybody would refuse to touch. Now, the question was, will she go and shake hands with an AIDS patient wearing a glove, as what doctors would do, or without? So, in your photograph, she does not have a glove. And what that did was that changed the entire world's perspective on how to treat people. She became a leader without giving speeches, which is the question I said. Should a leader be a leader because he can give speeches? You do not need to give speeches. You do not need to be rhetoric to be a good leader. Even with compassion, even by shaking a person's hand, you can be a good leader. Next slide. Okay. Now, this is a tough one. Camaraderie. All right? In 2010, long time back, how old were you when you were 2010? 10 years old. You were 10 years old. 5 years old. Very young children, so you may not be knowing this. Some of you kids may not have been born 2010. All right. Anyway, in 2010, in a place called Chile, where's Chile? South America. In South America, okay. Now, Chile is very famous for its mines, okay. And the man who's standing over there, his name is Luis, right? And he's a foreman, okay. Foreman for a team of miners that go in. Now, what happened one day, they went for their shift 5 o'clock, and he's a very, very experienced miner, the most experienced miner in their country. And he goes down with his team of 33 people, goes down the mine 700 meters below the earth, and the mine collapses. It shuts down. Imagine you're 700 meters below the earth and the mine has shut down. It caved in, rocks. It's complete darkness. There is no food. There is no water. 33 people. If you remember COVID, do you remember the time where you were asked to sit at home? Did you feel agitated? Did you feel that I want to get out of this? Why are people not? I want to go watch a movie. I want to go to a restaurant. I want to eat ice cream. Right? Correct. Imagine being down a hole for 70 days. Food, water was not available to them. Right? When we talk about ice cream, what he did was he got people together. And he was their leader. And because he was their leader, he made sure that all these 70 people survived. And you know what they used to eat? For every 48 hours, the only food they can have was tuna. Tuna is fish. A little bit, 2 spoons of tuna and 15 ml of milk. For 48 hours, that's the only food they can eat. You eat meals 3 times a day, right? Yes, and your mothers will tell you to eat more. Finish what is there in your plate. I can see eyes closing. He's like, I know, I have to go back and do that again. But he managed to keep this. So a leader who is a foreman, again, doesn't give speeches, doesn't have to dress up, is not an actor, is not a cultural icon, but just being somebody who can get people together, a camaraderie. And there is a movie that's come out in his name. Next slide. Okay, this lady, okay, the photograph is very iconic. Okay, this lady I got to know through my daughter. Why? We were talking about Martin Luther King and we were having conversations, and she said, do you know about Rosa Parks? Before that, I have read a lot. I read a lot. Even now, books are one of my favorite companions. But Rosa Parks were a very small incident in the civil rights movement in the US. Now, why is this photo iconic? It looks like any other lady sitting in a bus. She was in a place called Montgomery, and Montgomery is in Alabama, a southern state. In the 1950s and 60s, people of color, that means if your skin is black, you are not allowed to go to places where white people are there. So your brown skin, imagine your brown skin and you go to a place and they tell people with brown skin, stay out of this restaurant. Your restaurant is only for brown skin people. Here only white skin people can eat. Right? In India, we used to have that. It was the caste system. Temples, they were not allowed. And fortunately, our constitution has disallowed it. But in US, till the 1960s, black people were not allowed to go in the same schools, separate colleges, separate offices. But the only thing that was common was a bus. So they can go in the same bus, but the white people will sit in front and the black people will sit at the back. Now, Rosa Parks has finished her shift. She's going back home. She's tired, just like teachers at the end of a day. The last thing she wants to do is listen to somebody else. So the white person, so she sits in front. That's the seat that's available. And the white person comes and tells her, get up. That's my seat. That seat is reserved for white people. She refuses to get up. That's all she did. You know what they did to her? They arrested her and put her in jail for refusing to get up to give a seat. Why? To a white person. And that moment that she started, it spread like wildfire, and people boycotted buses in the state of Alabama. For 380 days, nobody traveled by bus. And after that, along with the civil rights movement, along with people like Martin Luther King, a constitutional amendment came saying that you cannot segregate people. And it took 10 years in the US for blacks and whites to sit and eat together. You will have a board, no blacks allowed, no Negroes allowed. Rosa Parks did just one thing. She refused to get up. That is all. No speeches, no fancy clothes, nothing. Just taking a stance. Next slide, please. Now, student leadership, the people who are there over here. What do you think are, and this is what I think, it's a very personal opinion. Be flexible and exhibit a potential of leadership. You are not leaders yet. They say student leader is not a leader. You are training yourself to be leaders. You are making sure, what do I learn from here? And one of the things that happens with leaders is they become inflexible. Nanu helide sari. Why? Because I am the head student. You have to follow what I say. That is not how you do it. You be flexible, but flexible enough, not flexible enough to break. That means everybody can take you for a ride. No. but be flexible enough to work together as a group and take the entire council forward. Next slide, please. Display positive classroom behavior. Now, this is a slide for teachers. Can anybody tell me what is positive classroom behavior? What is good classroom behavior? Can you sleep in class? No, even if you're bored, even if you're feeling sleepy. I've had a heavy lunch. One of my classmates, when I did my GME, was a boy called Prasid. Now, Prasid, we will finish our PT and all of that, and we'll have heavy breakfast. And the first class was an English class. By the way, when I'm telling class, I was 23 years old, an old man, going to class. And Prasid would sit in the first bench. As soon as the teacher says, okay, the class for 2 days, and Prasid would go. He's a chief engineer now, but still likes his sleep. Positive classroom behavior. Pay attention to your teachers. Make sure your class is working together as one team. Make sure that you are all helping each other out. And when I say helping each other out, it does not mean copying in exams, showing your paper. That is not helping each other out. But positive classroom behavior, these are representatives for it. So who do you look up to? Them. The responsibility becomes very hard. Wearing a sash does not make you a leader. My life is my message, is what Mahatma Gandhi told. What does that mean? What does that mean? My life is my message. Is that if I want to tell, I will tell, be a very good person. And if I'm not a good person in real life, it's just rhetoric, it is just a message. Right? So if you want to be good leaders and you want to see good leaders, for the next 1 year, they will be your examples. If they are bad, think of Pol Pot. Maybe your photo will be there. Okay, next please. Have a genuine interest in the welfare of others. What does that mean? Welfare of others. One statement that I would want you to remember when you come out of every day to school, council leaders and the other people included. What have I done for others today? Not for yourself, for others. Remember that one thing. If you're doing that every day, you become better students, better leaders, better human beings, better than more than any other things. Next, please. Consistently portray qualities of responsibility, empathy, integrity. Very difficult. Easy to put it in a slide. Consistency is the key. Can I do it every day? Very, very, very hard. Very hard. But trying to do it, trying genuinely to think that will be do it, is much more, I know, can be done. Next, please. All right. There are the questions you may have, and this goes for other council leaders also. Next slide. Next, please. I am shy. I don't like leading. There are the people, young people over here, yawning because it's quite long. I know. We'll finish it in 10 minutes. But I don't like leading. Can I be a leader? Can you be a leader? Yes. Yes. How? Compassion. Taking a stance. You do not have to give a speech like me. When I was in school, right, I was so scared to come on stage. I used to love talking in class. You like talking in class? Yes. Do teachers catch you for that? Yes. My mother, till 7th standard, she was always called every month to my class. And I used to study in Milagres. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಗ ತುಂಬ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಏನು ಶ್ರೀದೇವಿ ಅವರೇ ನೀವು. Now I am called to talk. Now my mother posts pictures of me talking. You see the irony? Why? Because I worked on, so I don't talk to talk. I talk to do the same thing, to build a community of people who will move ahead. Next, please. I am scared to be on stage. Can I be a leader? Yes, you do not have to give a speech. One act a day. One act of kindness. One act of compassion. One act of taking a stance. You can be a leader. Yes, next, please. And any other questions you have? Any questions? No? From the council? No questions? Okay, I will end it with this. What I do very often, and this I've told to my wife also, all of you people, when especially to the boys and girls who are passing out, make sure that you know what you want to do. Very difficult question. What do you want? What do I want to do for the rest of my life? Right? Have a conversation before you go to college. Do I want to be this? Do I want to be a nurse? Talk to people and She has my number. Make sure you talk to people who are in the profession. Talk to an engineer, talk to a doctor. Have that conversation before you take up commerce, science or anything, because I find it difficult with students who have given a NEET exam, they give it for medical, haven't got a seat in medical, and that's why they come for engineering. It is very difficult to teach an elephant to climb a tree. Very difficult. And that's what unfortunately our system does to us. So before that, if you have questions, if you don't have it now, but feel free to give a call, you can go talk to madam and she will give me the phone any time of the day, preferably in the evenings when I'm there at home, you can give me a call. Other than that, next slide please. Next slide. And I'm ending myself with this. Okay, this is one quote. If you think you're too small, the people over here, you have never been in the dark with a mosquito. Can you fight a mosquito? No, mosquito is much more powerful than you in the dark, is it not? Right, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to all of you. And I hope that I see leaders from this crowd when I come back, and all the best to all the council members. Thank you, Sister Sarika, and thank you all of you for giving me the time for talking. It was, okay, before I leave, this was one of the most spectacular shows I have ever seen. Give yourself a big hand. The school and the teachers. Give yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your exhilarating message to our students. We certainly felt that you are very much one among us. Everyone has their own ways of expression. I believe we all have a lot to say, but finding ways to say it is more than winning half the battle. I humbly request our principal to address the newly appointed cabinet members and the gathered students.
A pleasant morning to the guest of honor, Professor Vivek Vijay Kumar, Mrs. Lavita, the member of the school managing committee, Sister Violet, the administrator, student faculty, student leaders, and my dear students. My heartiest congratulations to all the members of the Student Council who have been nominated by a body of teachers who have seen you transform and grow over the years. It is essential for you to understand why you are among the chosen ones. The responsibility that you have to assume as a student council member and the aspirations we have for you. Your teachers have nominated you to appreciate your sense of responsibility and the vigor with which you have conducted yourself in curricular and co-curricular activities. This honor also appreciates the initiatives taken by you to raise the school's consciousness by transforming yourself and the student community. I must enumerate the responsibilities we would like you to assume as student council members. We expect the council heads and the team of prefects to be exemplary in behavior, to work with utmost sincerity, and create a culture of compassion and reverence, not only for teachers, support staff, parents, and guests, but also for fellow Carmelites, be it a class senior or junior. Be vigilant to every activity happening in the school so that the school environment becomes healthy, caring, compassionate, safe, progressive, and conducive to growth. You can promote only that which you practice. Accept your personal as well as collaborative achievements with humility and gratitude. We want you to grow into inspirational leaders However, if you want to be inspirational, you have to be inspired. Find your inspirations. In fact, a commitment larger than yourself can be the best inspiration. We would want you to live an inspired life where you challenge yourself and lead people to take up meaningful growth oriented tasks they would otherwise be unwilling to venture into. Upgrade yourself continuously so that you fulfill your commitments and don't fall. Integrity is a basic element of inspiration. Rise above your self interest so that people around you can experience your integrity. We aspire you to believe in the school's philosophy of integral education and work towards excellence by constant conscious transformation so that you stand in good stead in every situation. We thank and appreciate your willingness to accept this challenging responsibility and render your service to this institution. We pray God's blessings, wisdom, good health, and courage to lead this institution to its heights. May our patrons, Mother of Mount Carmel, guide and protect you. Let our foundress, Venerable Mother Veronica, be an inspiration to live up to the values of Carmel. I wish each one of you a fruitful and a productive year. All the best, dear Student Council. Thank you.
Thank you, sister, for motivating the new cabinet members and the students. Dear students, you have promised to make leadership your target this year. Let us march forward together with the management and faculty, bearing aloft the bright banner of Carmel School towards the shining goal of harmony and success. To speak gratitude is courteous and pleasant. To enact gratitude is generous and noble. But to live gratitude is to touch heaven. As we come to the closure of Investiture's program, I invite Sister Preena to propose vote of thanks.
Leaders are not born, but they are created. Every child in a school is making of a leader for tomorrow. Let the world be proud of you because you are born to lead the world. Gratitude is a powerful catalyst for happiness. It's a spark that lights a fire of joy in your life. So, when we are concluding this joyous moment, it's my pleasure to express my gratitude to all of you gathered here. Life without God is like an unsharpened pencil, pointless. First and foremost, I thank God who holds our hand and shows us the right path throughout our life. May God Almighty show you the path of loyalty and responsibility each day. Our sincere thanks to Mr. Vivek Vijay Kumar, our esteemed chief guest, for encouraging our budding leaders with your thought-provoking message and for being with us today and gracing this occasion. Could I request Sister Sarika to hand over a memento symbolizing our gratitude? Profound gratitude to Sister Sarika, our dear principal, who always strives for the perfection in whatever she is doing and guides us to be flawless. May Sister be a role model to each of you, dear cabinet members, in your endeavors. I am delighted to express my warmest gratitude to our dear Sister Violet, the administrator, for her guidance and support. Thank you, Madam Lavita, the member of School Managing Committee, for your dedicated service and belongingness to the school. Behind every successful program lie the manifold efforts of our committed faculty. My deep sense of appreciation for their cooperation and support. No program will be a success without the audience. A million thanks to our dear students for being great audience. Thank you once again. And congratulations and all the very best to the newly elected cabinet members.
Thank you, sister. Kindly rise for the school anthem.
School attention. School anthem. Raised on high, we lift our Carmel banner. Rally around pictograms together. All unite to lift the flag on high and pledge to loyalty this day till we die. Carmel be a beacon light in this wild and tempestuous night. Be a red and guiding star, all life troubled sea till dawn's eternity. Raised on high, we lift our Carmel banner. Rally around pictograms together. All unite to lift the flag on high and pledge to loyalty this day till we die. Onward as we march along, legs to right, avoid sin and wrong. Look ahead and onward to all and far beyond. Keep on till the prize is won. Raised on high, we lift our Carmel banner. Rally around pictograms together. All unite to lift the flag on high and pledge to loyalty this day till we die.